One. Hey guys, how's it going? We are live on the internet. Jason J. Daniel. This is the Jason J. Daniel Show. Thanks for watching. We're doing a midnight edition. That's a little past midnight here in California, but we're doing the midnight edition. I think I did this a few weeks ago. I went late and I thought I'd do it again because there's more breaking news. Every day there's breaking news in politics, news that I like to cover, stuff I like to talk about. I have a lot of concerns, man. I have a lot of concerns in what's going on nationwide, California, statewide, tons of concerns. I have concerns with local elections too, but I think I'm fortunate in the sense that in my personal world, where I live locally, it's more conservative than liberal, and there are more conservative politicians, and things pretty much do not run in a radical sense. So I feel I feel pretty decent about that, and so I'm not that concerned. Um, but I'm going to be paying attention around the election. So if you're just joining me, my name is Jason J. Daniel. I'm a podcaster. I talk about politics. I talk about true crime. I like to interview my friends. I have a lot of interesting friends. So thanks for joining me. It's a late night edition. I'm going to check my sound. So here's a little info. I have a new mic. You would notice if you've been watching my podcast. I bought a new microphone pinned to my profile, and so I'm having to try it out. It's more complex. Let's see here. I'm going to check my sound here. I have to do a little sound check. I don't know if I do not hear it. Let's try this again here. Sorry, guys. We gotta. I do not hear it. Here we go. Okay. Okay, cool. Right on. Sorry about that, guys. All right, that sounds good. So I am. Thanks for watching, guys. Again, Jason J. Daniel. I'm doing a late night edition in California. Anyway, I bought a new mic. You've probably noticed. It kind of gets washed out in my shirt. But hold on. There you go. And it's a Shure mic. So just a little info on this. I wanted to get better sound, and the mic I had, very inexpensive mic, but I was able to do a lot with it. I did like 100 shows with it. It's crazy. And it never really occurred to me that that might be a problem. There may be some issues with that. And it turned out it was more problematic for me. Like I was when I would watch my shows in the past, and I would realize that oh, the sound's inconsistent, stuff like that. So I researched, and I found that this Shure microphone is the best microphone for podcasting, plug and play, easiest way to go. So I bought it, but it's way complicated. And so when I plugged it in to go, I did an interview a couple of days ago. It was a great interview, but the sound was not balanced right. My fault. And then I did another interview the next day, and the sound sounded much better. So figuring it out. I'm figuring it out, guys. So anyway, thanks for watching. Um, you know, um, the biggest issue right now is there are vicious anarchists disguised as Democrats in the Democrat Party, and they're obsessed with murder. They're obsessed with murdering conservatives. They're obsessed with talking about murder. They're obsessed with murdering not just conservatives, but anyone that goes against their ideology. It's wild. It staggers me, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to podcast tonight is because yet another Democrat, another lunatic left ragey Democrat. There's actually three of them we're going to talk about tonight. Ragey Democrat in this nation running for high office in Virginia, state office, was busted for saying murderous things on a text message, and that came out today. It's been about 10 hours that news has been out there. A guy named Jay Jones, and this guy is running for Attorney General of Virginia. Now, Virginia usually goes very blue, and it is what it is. So you kind of expect them to be lunatics in a certain sense. But this guy is another level of dangerous. And I wanted to talk about that. I think it's important for all of us to talk about anything that affects politics in the state, national or local level. We should all talk about that. But I want to preface this before we get into it. I'm going to show some videos and we're going to talk about him and also the governor candidate. That's the two candidates for governor is interesting. That's an interesting race for Virginia because this ties into that. And then also the mayor of Seattle, he's in a debate. He's running for reelection, and he's obviously a left wing rage monster. And he said some things that were very interesting about how he loves to coddle criminals, and he wants to basically be the mayor of crime. He wants to be the mayor of criminals more than the mayor of his constituents. But we'll get to that. But one of the things I wanted to start off with, I guess you could call it my monologue, but I wanted to just really talk about power and how political power makes people so vicious. Like it blows my mind. And I'm talking Democrats and Republicans. It's like every time most of these people get into power, they might start off as like cool people, cool cats, they're doing their thing, right? They're fun at parties. They're the life of the party. They have to be, somewhat charismatic. People like them. People dig them, right? Their neighbors like them, and then they run for office, or they're maybe a very good business person or a lawyer or something. Most of them are lawyers. They run for office, and then they get lucky, or they have a great campaign and they win. And then from there, they do their best to try to change the system, break the wheel. I'm I'm a rebel against the system. You know how every politician starts off, right? That's how they start off. But then something happens. They get drunk on power. The power of being a politician at any level corrupts people to the nth degree. It is such a corrupting experience for them. And I'm not even specifically just talking about Congress. Thanks for watching, guys. My name is Jason J. Daniel. It's the Jason J. Daniel Show. Just a late night edition. Appreciate that. I'm just giving you my monologue here on political power because when I saw the news today and the articles about Jay Jones in Virginia, basically plotting how he would kill his opponent or one of his political opponents at the time, it was like 3 years ago, and the family. This guy put in a text message to someone that was a confidant how he would kill this family, and then equated this guy to Hitler that he was having a political disagreement with. Then the guy in the text message was like, "Hey, you need to chill out here. I'm getting freaked out." And he doubled down. He kept doubling down. But my point is that there are people. It's not even just the death threats and the murderous stuff because they're just this. It's just the power that these folks get, and they get into high office or even local government, and they get free stuff. They get patted on the back. It's this ego boost to have people vote for them. Like it's just, and maybe you have to be an ego monster to run for office. I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm kind of an ego monster. I suppose I'm on the internet talking about it. Maybe maybe I'm an ego monster. Maybe we're all kind of ego monsters, but there's another level of crazy that I would say 60 to 70% of these politicians get. They get drunk on power. And then something else happens. And I think power, when you get political power, I mean, I've seen it over the years. I used to work in local politics. I worked really hard to recall. Now, the current sheriff of Sacramento County, when he was a city council person, I worked hard to recall that guy. It didn't work. I failed, but I have been involved in the process for 20 years at the local level, the state level, and I've been a blogger and I've done media. You could call me, I guess, a journalist, a political journalist in a lot of ways. But I have seen really cool people get like elected to city council, and then all of a sudden they're just super like high and mighty. And you're like, okay. And then you just have to play that game with them because the ego boost they get from being voted for. Like that in itself is a huge ego boost. And if you think about it, we're all interviewing, we're all talking to candidates and politicians. We should. That's part of the process. And I enjoy it. It's why I understand them. And that's why I can say that it is a rare thing for me to run into a politician that is not an egomaniac, that actually thinks about other people and that mentions like what other people are going through, or worried about crime, or worried about, blight, worried about children. One of the things that I realize and I've realized is the first the first thing I look for with a local politician or any politician is, what do they think about how their decisions affect children? Because that is the future. And you don't have to have a child to understand, what it takes to, provide, the things that a city or a government needs to provide for children in a, at a government, like the responsibility of government, right? For children. I get that. But sometimes, people that do have children have a certain amount of insight, but that doesn't mean that people that don't have children don't. So I mean, there's no it's just two different worlds, and one is not better than the other. It's just two different perspectives. And that's why it takes a council, it takes a village of people, activists, right? Even, podcasters, opinion folks, right? It takes all of us to guide a political body, a local body, a state body in the right direction. It starts with voting. It starts with us exercising our right to vote. So if we're all voting and it's working, then everything else should fall into place. And there should be an open dialogue, right? Thanks for watching, guys. Jason J. Daniel. I am just talking about some politics. Late night edition, 12 a.m. Well, I started 10 after. I'm in California. So thanks for watching. Jason J. Daniel on X. If you're watching on X, I appreciate it. Please like and share, and also subscribe, man, on Rumble. Rumble's been very good to me, so thank you guys. And YouTube, I'm almost at 1,000. So thanks, guys, for subscribing. So I'm just talking about the power. So let's get into the stories here that made me get online tonight, and I'm just really disturbed, man. I actually was like super ragey, I guess. I was angry when I read this story, and I had to be like, I had to take some time and go, I don't want to go online and be like, upset, like too upset, because that doesn't help, right? I want to stay balanced. But when I read the stuff that I read about guys like this, it makes me so angry, because this is not a person like this person I'm about to talk about, Jay Jones. He is one of the most despicable politicians I've ever seen. The stuff he put in that text message disqualifies that guy from being even close to any political power, in my opinion. Should never, ever, ever, ever hold any kind of office. Dog catcher, fucking mayor, nothing. Mayor, he's running for attorney general in Virginia. And we'll get into the story, but he got busted because in 22, he was texting very vicious, murderous things about a political opponent at the time, a Republican. Obviously, Jay Jones is a liberal, a Democrat, obviously, because that's just the way it is. If you want to, I guess, get your way as a Democrat, you got to be like the meanest, the vicious, the most vicious. I don't understand it. Like, and I'm appalled. I'm appalled by it. And that's really the message, is that we should be appalled, because I have so many things in my head. We're at a point now, it cycles, right? It cycles for every generation. We're now back at a point where Charlie Kirk was murdered for his political opinion. We have had people executed, murdered, assassinated. They tried to assassinate Trump twice. We are in a time of very severe violent activity in politics in the US. Now, it happens all the time in third world countries. It's happened for years, and it's been 30 years of in other countries. There's all sorts of political wars and things like that, and we're not affected by that in most cases. But now we're affected by that kind of violence. This kind of stuff is what politicians in other countries do that aren't in America, because they have basically no freedom of speech, no bill of rights. In some cases, it's law of the jungle. and the most violent person is the one that usually leads. So the violent nature of the Democrat Party right now, the anarchists, that is kind of how it works. That's how it works in third world countries. And that's how it works when a party that's out of power really wants to accelerate back in power quickly. They kill their rivals, they threaten their rivals, they threaten the families. You'll see what Jay Jones did. They create massive intimidation. And then they also gain votes. They gain votes through fear. Then they also gain votes through people that are like, whoa, he's the toughest. He's the strongest, or she's the strongest. Wow. Like, look, survival of the fittest. And so people will naturally vote for the toughest, meanest hombre, right? So it's a real mixed psychological bag. But Jay Jones, let's talk about what he did today. Well, he did this years ago. It was 22, but he went ahead and did something. He was texting a, I guess it's a confidant, a friend, and we'll jump right to it. I'll screen share it. And he said some really terrible things in the text message. I was offended by it. Like, I personally was offended. And one of the things that offended me is he talked about murdering the children of this guy. We'll get to it. It's I just it's just gross. So here he is pretending. Look at this. This is what these guys do. Now this guy, not only does he have this murderous heart, I mean, you just don't you don't send these words in a text message if you are pretending. Like, because common sense would even say nobody thinks it's funny. It's not a joke, right? But anyway, we'll read it. But look at even look at this picture. Look at how smarmy he is. This is like a campaign commercial. You know, he's got the bluish suit and the red tie, the American red, white, and blue. That's all staged for you or for Virginia. And look at him. Doesn't he look so pleasant? Doesn't he look like a person you can trust? That's how they do it. So this story broke today. He is the nominee for Attorney General of Virginia, Jay Jones. Jay is not his real first name. I'll show you his real name, but that's, I guess, his nickname. And this article is saying he fantasized about shooting the former Virginia GOP Speaker of the House. Quote, he receives both bullets. We'll read the text. But fantasy is not the right word. When you read these texts, it is a plan. It's almost though like the guy already put it in motion. It's not a fantasy. These words are not fantasy. So that is a misstatement. And I know National Review is supposed to be, I think this is National Review. They're supposed to be, let's check it here. Yeah, National Review. They're supposed to be, I guess, kind of more moderate, but that's just liberal speak. Oh, it was a fantasy. Oh, we didn't really mean it. Bill Clinton. What is the word is? Nothing is real when it comes to politicians. Nothing is real, especially when it comes to the Democrats. Nothing is real. It's a fantasy. Oh, we were just joking. That's a joke. Well, let's read about his joke here. So on August the 22nd, a Republican, sorry, that video's there. I wish I could, let me pause it. Sorry, it's distracting. On August the 8th, 22, now this was 3 years ago. Almost, 3 years ago, a little over 3. A Republican state legislator received a disturbing string of early morning text messages from her former colleague, Jay Jones, who is now the Democratic nominee for Virginia. I guess the election is in November. It's close. Jones, who at the time had recently resigned from the state house after a brief stint representing Norfolk, had strong feelings about how the political class was eulogizing recently deceased former state legislator Joe Johnson Jr. Now that's a whole nother conversation. I guess his funeral turned into this kind of rally. It was for Democrats. It was and then it was heavily criticized. So there's a lot of feelings around it, right? So anyway, so The person was Kerry Conyer, a Republican House delegate. This was a Republican. So Jones, a Democrat, around 8 a.m. starts blowing up this Republican and starts saying all sorts of shit. And here's the breakdown, but I think what's important is to actually I think it's actually more important to read the text messages. And here they are. Let me open this one up. Okay, so this is the screen captures. JJ. So now, why this person didn't report this until now is a mystery to me. Now, I understand they were probably saving it for ammo. We know politics. But this is something that we should have known, or the people of Virginia should have known about this guy. But he wasn't running. So I get that. Now he's running. And they saved it. I get that. He messaged this to a Republican. So it leads me to believe I didn't look up Kerry. So it leads me to believe that either he was drunk, he was high, most likely drunk. High people don't type like this. He was drunk on some kind of drug, didn't really realize what he was doing in that sense. But I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying that could be. Why would you message this? But anyway, here it is. So Jay is obviously Jay is in the brown gray here. If those okay, so it's in the end of the conversation. They say nice things about everyone. LOA. Not sure who that is. Okay, he says, if those guys die before me, this is Jay, I will go to their funerals to piss on their graves. Who writes this? I mean, I have people I dislike, but I don't sit around thinking these things. I don't think I'm going to piss on. Like that is a gang mentality. It's a gangster. That's a violent mentality. That's like a young man on the streets, like without any kind of self-awareness, like somebody that's like a crime committer. Okay. Then he says, send them out awash in something. Not sure what that means. This person says Jay Jones. Now I'm sensing this. They're almost like if I said something to somebody and it was like teasing, they would say Jason Daniel. That's how I'm taking that. Like this person thought he was teasing, and clearly this is how he talks, right? If this person thought he was kidding, he talks like this, like a criminal. This is what a more or a low IQ person talks about revenge like this. I'm gonna piss on their grave. Like who thinks like this? Well, we'll find out. And then he says 3 people, 2 bullets. Like what? If somebody messaged me that right there, that's enough for me to go, what is this? What are you saying to me? Like I would be like, whoa, 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 what are you saying to me? Now this person could have like been letting him go. Okay, I can get that. Like, what the hell? But it continues. Gilbert. Now that's the name of the guy. The guy that he wanted to do damage to. His name is I'm pulling it up here. It's Todd Gilbert. Here he is. Here's Todd Gilbert. So he's talking about this guy. Jay Jones is talking about Todd Gilbert at the time when he's sending these text messages. Okay, so back to the text message. Gilbert, Hitler and Pol Pot. Hitler's kind of the buzzy buzzword. 2022, Biden was doing his thing. So everybody, they were all emboldened at the time. This is where it started. Honestly, the Biden, Dark Brandon coming in, doing the whole Darth Vader thing, always being nasty about MAGA, being nasty to Trump's supporters, nasty Republicans, saying Republicans are going to destroy the country. You were there, all the stuff he said. So they were all very emboldened in 22. This is when it was in full swing, and they were doing everything they could to make the country as woke and as weak as possible, and to also take away the power of any Republican or conservative that had any kind of leverage in the political spectrum. So he says Hitler. and Pol Pot. Now you know who Pol Pot was, right? Cambodian communist dictator, killed like 500,000 innocent people, just genocide, like crazy numbers. I apologize because I don't know the numbers. I'm not a historian on some of these things, but it was massive deaths. Might have even because I had a conversation with one of my guests on the show last year, and we did talk about Pol Pot because she was from Cambodia, and she was aware of that. And I looked it up, and I believe it was like almost a million innocent people were murdered in that genocide. But anyway, so he's putting, you see what he's doing. He's equating, and this is what they do. They equate Republicans and conservatives with the most evil people who have ever existed in history, because it's really a self hypnotist thing for them. I think they're hypnotizing themselves into believing it's okay to be murderous, right? Because right, like Hitler, right? Hitler was that was acceptable to try to murder Hitler, right? Obviously, he was a terrible dude, and just a maniac, a mass murderer. So everybody was trying to kill him to stop the war. That was that was acceptable, right? So if you take somebody like that and you put him in with innocent people that are just politicians, and you're a twisted person like Jay Jones is, your mind will apologize to you and allow you to be a murderous rage monster and have these dark thoughts. So anyway, Gilbert, Hitler, and Pol Pot. So okay, here he sets the table for what he says next. Then he says Gilbert gets 2 bullets to the head. Now, if Gilbert had been murdered and in 23 and they were trying to figure out who did it, this is evidence. I'm just saying, like, if something unfortunate had happened to this guy, this text message is evidence in a court of law. I don't know why this is not indictable. Like, they should indict him for this. Like, this is a death threat. This is a serious death threat. If somebody sent a text message about me like this to someone else, I would hope that they would be indicted for, or some sort of a charges for this, like a misdemeanor. I mean, I'm not sure what's going on in Virginia with the laws, but think about this: the guy's an attorney and he's running for attorney general in Virginia, and this is what he's saying. And then he writes, spoiler, put Gilbert in the crew with the 2 worst people and he receives both bullets every time. I don't know if he's trying to be funny there, saying Gilbert, if somebody had a choice between Gilbert and 2 other people, they'd kill Gilbert every time. I don't know what that means, but it still means murder. And then this person says, Jay, please stop. They understand this is already admissible as evidence. We have a problemo. And then he goes, LOL. Oh, okay. And this person says, it really bothers me when you talk about hurting people or wishing death on them. Did you notice what I just read? It really bothers me when you talk about hurting people. Now, that means Jay Jones does this often, frequently, or has done this before, because you would not say that to somebody unless you have a history of them doing that, right? So this is a violent guy. He's a ragey guy. He's a liar. He's disgraceful. He's despicable. And it only gets worse. It only gets worse. Let's look at this one. So she or he, I'm not sure who this person is. You weren't simply asking questions and you know it. Oh, wait a second. Did I jump ahead? I'm not sure. Okay, here we go. You weren't asking questions and you know it. I genuinely was. Now Jay is like, oh, now he's like, whoa, now he's lying because he knows he took it too far. I wasn't attacking you or trying to understand. I was trying to understand your logic. You weren't trying to understand. This person responds to him, who's a Republican. You were talking about hoping Jennifer Gilbert's children would die. Yes, he says. I don't even need to read the rest of it, which I will. But he agrees that he wants Jennifer, I believe, is the wife of Mr. Gilbert. I'm assuming. I think so. Children would die. So this piece of shit says yes to the affirmative that he wishes not only does this man be murdered, but he wishes his children die too. There isn't, I think these are cut up. This doesn't make a lot of sense. This person said, I point blank asked you more than 3 times and you dug in that you meant it. I honestly am questioning a lot today. And he says, well, actually, let me go back. I jumped ahead. Let me go back to this. I've told you before. Yes, I've told. So this is established. He has violent, ragey thoughts. He's a vile person. Like if I had a friend I was talking to and they said, this guy at work, I really want to shoot him in the head, or I wish somebody would shoot him twice. And you know what? On top of it, I want his kids to die. I would just look at that person and, well, first I'd look at myself and go, how did this person get this close to me? Because no one would ever get that close to me with those kind of thoughts. I would sniff that out because the kind of person that thinks this, you can see them coming if you're a good judge of character. But I don't know, maybe all the politicians have the same killer vibe. I don't know. But if there's some kind of weird also, they have a weird relationship. That's a whole nother thing. Because he is feeling very free to say these very nasty, despicable, monstrous, vile things to this person and feeling like it's not going to come back to haunt him. He says, only when people feel pain personally do they move on policy. And there you go. That's why the Democrats have now turned into the party of murder. That's why they celebrated Charlie Kirk's murder, because the first thing they thought was, now we have a guy out of the way that was stopping us from our twisted radical agenda. Now we can get what we want. You know that violence is listed as a political strategy. Did you know that? Violence actually is a technical strategy in politics. Revolutions are violent. Countries turn over through violence. The Revolutionary War that we had that created this great country. People died. Blood was spilled. War of 1812. Wars happen. And that's just part of the politics of building a country or keeping a country together. So these people look at violence. When I say these people, I say the loons, the rage monsters that disguise themselves as Democrats. You've heard me before. The Democrat Party does not exist anymore. It's a scam. These are wolves in sheep's clothing. These are demons wearing people skin, lizard people, whatever you want to call them, that are using the Democrat label to spew their hatred and to gain as much power as they can and to hurt people and to dominate people. And you should ask yourself, why do they pick the Democrats? Why do they become a Democrat instead of a Republican? They're usually all Democrats. And you think the Republicans are all Duck Dynasty. So back to the last of the text here. I'm questioning a lot today, this person says. This person should have been questioning a lot the first time this fucker said this shit, because clearly we've established this is how he talks to this person. And then his last thing here is, I mean, do I think Todd and Jennifer are evil and that they're breeding little fascists? He says, yes. And there you go again. The buzzword for murder, fascist. What did Gavin Newsom say in his wild, wacky weekend last weekend? A week ago, he called Stephen Miller a fascist. What do the assassins do now? The trans assassins, tongue twister, the trans paramilitary assassins do on their bullets. They write, catch fascist. Here you go, fascist, before they try to kill a conservative. My case should, Your Honor, I rest my case. This was in 22. This fucker said that. 2 bullets to the head. I will piss on their grave. Thanks for watching, guys. I know I'm so dark tonight. It's just, I'm upset, man. I'm upset. I'm really, really, I despise politicians like this because they're just bad people. They're bad seeds. They have the seed of murder in them. Look, I got to be very honest, and I am on this podcast. Might get me in trouble, but I'm honest. And please subscribe, guys. Thank you. There's your call to action. Please subscribe. I'm honest when I say that there's no way this person should ever come close to a political office ever again. And if this doesn't end this campaign for this loser, then Virginia is fucked. And they have people that are either not paying attention or they dig murder and violence. I don't know what else to tell you because I would not even think about voting for a person, Democrat or Republican, who said they wanted to murder children. Like Todd, he's a grown man. He's a big boy. In that picture, he looked like he's a strapping cat. All right. Todd looks like he can take care of himself. You know, let me go back to sharing. I'll show you Todd. Todd looks like he's a tough cat. He's a big boy. Like 250 at least, maybe. He's a big man. He's strapping. He can take care of himself. But the babies, the kids, man, you don't threaten kids. You don't call them little fascists and threaten to murder them. You don't do that. That's just disgraceful. There's no place for that in politics. It's not even politics. That's just being uncivilized and being a thug, gangster mentality. Like, honestly, I'm going to put 2 bullets in his head. I'm going to kill his kids. I want Jennifer's kids to die. That's a thug. That's thug mentality. That's gang shit. Who does he think he is? Well, clearly he doesn't think he's a respectable person because respectable people don't do that. And people that do that embrace that kind of violence. It makes them feel tough. My question to Jay is, you feel tough? You feel tough, little man? You feel tough? Your expensive suit, your red tie, your fake charisma. Are you proud of yourself? He shouldn't be. It's fucking monstrous, man. So let's talk about the election he's in. So let's go to Ballotpedia. So the Virginia Attorney General election 2025, that's what we're talking about here. And why is this important to you if you're not in Virginia? Well, this lunatic is another one of these bought and paid for murder cult members, the cult of death, that if they get into the highest law enforcement office of the land, Attorney General, this state is fucked with a capital fucked. This is not a law-abiding citizen. This is a murderous guy. Let me just be honest. There's no... when I was reading those text messages, I asked myself, is there any time and place that I would ever consider murder as an option if I was in a disagreement with someone? The answer is never. It's never occurred to me. If somebody did something very violent to my family or to someone I loved, God forbid, it does happen to a lot of people. So I'm not making any kind of, sarcasm about this when I say this. I respect that this is a thing people go through, but let's say my child was murdered or something terrible like that. Sure, I could understand me wanting to murder them back. Okay, I can understand that. But that is a very rare line. So I look at myself and I go, is there any place where I would feel it's acceptable to say I wanted to murder somebody? It never occurs to me, man. It would never occur to me to say that. I mean, I've said some stuff about people I didn't like. And if you watch my podcast or any of my social media, I'm a tough customer and I can say some things. I got a mouth. But it would never occur to me to think about murder in those details like he put them out in a text message. I'd never message that. And if I had those ideas, I'd never message it. So that's one thing that would never occur to me. And the other thing that would never occur to me is wishing murder on his children. Like, none of that would ever occur to me. But you know who it would occur to? The cartel. He sounds like a cartel leader. I read that. If you had given me that and said, look at this cartel, if they did an article and said, I'm sorry, I'm not finishing my sentences. I have to be better about that. If they had said, look what this cartel leader put in a text message, I would go, yeah, that sounds like the cartel to me. They'll double tap you right in the head and they'll kill your kids. Sounds like it to me. Oh no, it's not the cartel that wrote that. It's a fucking Democrat. It bothers me to a level that it bothers me enough to say something about it. Like Charlie Kirk was murdered. Like we're having death threats and people actively trying to kill the president. A guy just got 8 years for trying to kill Kavanaugh, some lunatic, and that's even another controversy. Just got sentenced for that after everything Kavanaugh went through. Now I don't feel bad for him. He's a rich guy. He's famous. He's generational wealthy, so I don't feel bad in that sense. But I mean, no one deserves to be in a situation. I mean, money doesn't matter when you think you're going to get murdered by a lunatic. I get that, but I'm just saying I'm not. I'm not trying to cry a river for Kavanaugh. He has paid security. He's fine and he's doing his thing. But I mean, it's not enough for an assassin to get 8 years. It's not enough, and it's always these radical nut jobs that kill innocent people or the weak people. And think about this guy, this Jones guy. He automatically goes to killing the children. It's crazy, man. It's sad as fuck. So, okay, so his name is Gerald Jones. He's running against Jason Mariez. So, just think about this. The guy that he wanted to kill is not even the guy he's running against. It's another guy. So, he wanted to kill a guy. He probably still wants to. He put in a text message he wanted the murder of a man that was an opponent, but not really an opponent. He had nothing to gain from it. Like, but isn't that the truth with murderous people? They always have zero to gain for the murders. I mean, it's really, I know you watch Dateline, and look, I'm no expert on murders, but I watched a lot of Dateline, right? The guys in the orange jumpsuit in jail, like saying, I loved her. I don't know how she fell down the stairs. I don't know how I got in this mess. I've watched enough Dateline to know that most of the time, murder gets you nothing. Murder gets you nothing. It's murder. People murder just for the sake of murder. It's not, murder for gain is very rare. It is rare. And if these people murder someone, it's usually in passion. It's a crime of passion, or is that first degree is the crime of passion, right? Second degree is plotting. And this guy was what he was saying could have qualified as second degree. But anyway, so he's running against Jason Mariez. Let's go here and see what Jason looks like. Looks like it's taking a second to get there. Oh, there he is. All right, here's Jason. Jason, you baby. First of all, love the name. It's a good name, very 70s. Second of all, dude, you better put your head on a swivel, lawyer up, get a helmet, get a seatbelt, because this guy that you're running against is a murderous guy. He says some murderous shit, and they need to ask him to step down. And there's already calls for Jay Jones to step down, and he should. He totally should. So Jason Mariez is the attorney general now, and so he's running for re-election, and the election happens in November. And so let's go back here to Gerald. Let's go to Gerald Jones. All right, there he is. Doesn't he look so happy? He looks, make sure his pictures look, even though he's a murderous thug guy and he talks about killing children, we should let's give him nice suit. No tie this time. Just button that Thurston Howell III. If you're young, you don't know who that is. That little Thurston Howell button right there. Oh, he just look cute. He looks so cute. Let's look his biography. He got his bachelor's degree in history. Oh, in history. That'll take you far. Okay, in politics and government. Okay, that's what they always get. From the College of William and Mary. Ooh, they're very, very prestigious. His Juris Doctorate from University of Virginia. Okay. And then he's got professional experience or assistant attorney general, blah, 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 blah. Places he shouldn't have been because he's a murderous guy. I have no respect for this guy. Like, I didn't know a whole lot about him, but when I read those messages, and you can back if you jump in live, thanks for watching, Jason J. Daniel. I was reading the text messages of Jay Jones. You can back this stream up. I've set it up to where you guys can if you join in late. This guy, the text messages have surfaced where he's talking about murdering a political opponent and wishing that his children, this opponent's children, are murdered too. Really classy stuff. Class act. A class act. So speaking of that, let's continue to let's dig into Jay Jones a little bit. There's a little more info in this guy that I think is interesting. He does have a brush with the law that I think shows a lot about this guy. Let's see here. Let me go to here. It is. Okay. So Jay Jones was previously convicted of reckless driving. Well, how do you get reckless driving, Jason? Well, in Virginia, you have to drive over 160 miles an hour on Interstate 64. He got a $1,500 fine. That's a big fine for a speeding ticket. Keep in mind, January 22, this is the same year. This was months before he sent the murder messages. He's not a good person. He's not. He's not. And it's really obvious to us that this is the kind of candidate that the Democrat lunatic party wants installed. They want guys like this in there because most of the time there's dirt on them. And then they can take that dirt and they can leverage these guys because he's not electable, but he is if he has the whole, I got the nice suit. Look at this. You get the smile. He looks so happy. Every picture he's smiling, but he's really a murderous guy. He has murder in his heart. It's in his DNA. That's why you say those things in a text message. That's why you wish death on children when it's in your DNA. There's something mentally ill about this guy. That's mental illness. Those text messages, if you're not on drugs, which is one of the things I'm speculating, you have a mental illness. That's murderous ideologies. It's murderous. You have a seed of death in you when you automatically go to that instead of like other. I mean, fuck, he could do any kind of dirty political trick to him, but he goes right to murder. Well, that also shows weakness. That shows a sign of you're a weak-minded person when you think your only option to win anything is murdering the person. You're a low IQ motherfucker. You're weak-minded. And when I say low IQ, it has nothing to do with your education. It's IQ, in my opinion, is your emotional stability. It's your ability to problem solve without breaking the table, right? Without flipping the table over because you can't figure out a problem without smashing things like a child. That's IQ to me. That's how I look at it when I say low IQ. So he's convicted of reckless driving. Okay. And here's his apology. Several years ago, I made a mistake of speeding for which now, when did this come out? This came out. Oh, wow. This came out yesterday, 2 days ago. I made the mistake of speeding. No, you didn't make the mistake of speeding. You made the mistake of reckless driving, for which I'm regretful. No, you're not. You're a liar. I accept the responsibility, pay the fine. That's true. I've fulfilled my responsibility to the court. That's true. We'll give him that. But this is how it works. Look, you don't accidentally drive 116. I have a luxury car. I have a fast car. I'll just speak from experience. My car can go 120 or 30 miles. If I pushed it, it could. It's a European car. It's a very recent it's a fast car. I at times, now I'm not trying to bust myself, but I at times have pushed the speed limits, not realizing it because you're listening to your music or making a phone call. And I looked down and I was like, oh, wow, it was very easy in my car to push 90-ish, okay? And that's accidental. But I know if I'm hitting 100, that takes everything, right? I have to pay attention. That's not accidental. And if I was to, and 100 really fast, you have to have a car that you can control. And if you push one once, if you push 110 to one, that's purposefully speeding to speed, then that's how you get to reckless driving. Okay. So now, does that disqualify him from public office? No. But the fact that he wants to murder children does. So I'm just saying, Virginia, you guys need to get your shit together and you need to keep your incumbent in there. Now, it's hard for an incumbent to lose, especially in those kind of offices, because no one knows who the attorney general is in most cases, unless it's like, Kamala Harris, who's trying to make a name for herself, or other attorney generals like California's usually like a big state like California, Florida, Pam Bondi. Those attorney generals usually have high profile cases, or they're, the bigger states, Texas, that's on the national radar. They get national media attention, social media attention. Those attorney generals people kind of know. But this guy, Jason, no one knows him. No one knows that guy. But now they know the opponent because now the news is breaking. It's unfortunately making him more popular because now we know. But, and most likely, I don't know what the polls are, but most likely he was not going to win. Okay. So most likely he was probably down in the polls. I haven't seen anything on that. We'll go back to the incumbent situation here. Thanks for watching, guys. My name is Jason J. Daniel. We're talking about Virginia. We're talking about the Virginia news that broke where this guy, Jay Jones, there's text messages where he's talking about murdering a political opponent in 2022 and killing the guy's kids. Just really nasty, shitty stuff. Anyway, so Jason Mires, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. He's the incumbent, and Mr. Jones is trying to defeat him. So hoping to God that Jones loses, because you don't want a guy like this in the top cop spot. You don't want a guy talking about murdering children. It's really, really disgusting. Now, the text exchange is really old, 22. Oh, and it's a lady. Okay, let me jump to this. Tab here. Okay, cool. So this is the National Review article. This answers my question because I wasn't sure if the person he was messaging was a lady, but I kind of felt like it was. But I didn't want to speculate because that kind of exchange, remember I told you earlier, something weird is in this exchange. And why would he say this to this person? Seems like he was trying to impress them. He was trying. So it's a 3-year-old exchange, a little over 3 years. Conyer, who's the lady he was texting, who's a Republican, said condemned Jones' rhetoric and said she sent screenshots of the conversation to Gilbert that day. Okay, so Gilbert had him, so he's probably the guy that leaked them. She said she and Jones haven't spoken since. Okay, that's a lie. Aside from a brief conversation, that's a lie. Okay, she's lying because she has to separate herself from this guy. On August 8th, 22, I had a text conversation with Jay Jones. What he said was not just disturbing, but disqualifying for anyone who wants to seek public office. There you go. Amen. That's right there. That's it. That's it. And that's really my point. If he wants to act like a thug, and if he wants to say murderous he's like, this is like a cartel member wrote it. If he wants to act like the cartel, kill the children, double tap Gilbert in the head because I disagree with this free speech. Again, it's another murder your free speech situation. If that's the way he is, he's disqualified. He can be that way in his personal life, but just get the fuck away from the state house. Get away from the state power and fucking don't even be close to the attorney general's office, which apparently this guy was embedded in there because he was a junior and all these things. She said, and this is I didn't read this before I got on, and man, we agree. I love her. Jay Jones wished violence on the children of a colleague and joked. Now, he didn't joke about shooting Todd. He didn't joke. He was serious because she asked him more questions and he doubled down and said, yes, yes, yes. And she specifically said, you want these kids to be murdered to send a message? And he says, yes. And in the text messages, if you were watching earlier, there's indications they had these violent conversations before because she said to him, you've said this to me before. And he said, yes, as I've told you before. Crazy stuff, man. It's disqualifying. Guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for watching on Rumble. Appreciate that. You guys are awesome. Late night edition. I decided to get on a little late. It's now Saturday in California, but I thought I'd get on late and do a little midnight talk because when I saw this news breaking, I was working with earlier and I was with my family, and so normally I do 6 to 7 Pacific time, which would be 9 for you guys on the East. But I didn't have the time, and I thought, let me just dig into this a little bit because it was like breaking news, right? And the more I read, the more I just got completely disgusted by this guy, man. Just so disgusted. He said, check this one out too. He said, let me show you this. He said, especially about the children, if you've been watching my show long enough, you'll know that just don't mess with the children. Just don't. Leave them out of it. Don't mess with children. Now, unless the children are adults, that's a little different. Or if the children are teenagers and in some kind of trouble, that's a conversation. But you still need to be respectful about children that are in politics or related to, you just gotta chill out on the kids, man. That's a sign of weakness. It's a sign of weakness when you want to target children. Little crazy lunatic baby assassins. They go after children, right? Like these junior leaguers with guns, they go after children that can't defend themselves because they're too afraid to go after adults, and they kill themselves before the police come in. The adults with the guns because they're cowards. Only a coward targets children. A coward attacks children. That's why when people that go to prison for offenses against children, they usually meet some serious justice by the tough guys in there, the prison justice, because you don't mess with children, man. There's just a thing. It's just, you don't, man. It's even in the Bible, right? Jesus said, okay, I don't want to paraphrase it and mess it up, but it was something about, it's better you cast in the ocean, right, than to offend the little ones. It's just a thing. I mean, I think God takes that pretty seriously. I mean, there's a lot of evil shit that goes on, but I really think that God, you do shit to children, I think God takes that. I think he takes that really seriously, and I take it seriously. Not, you know what I mean? I'm not equating myself religiously at all. I personally, as a person, take it seriously. So here's another article. Jay Jones wondered whether GOP leader Todd Gilbert and his wife were breeding little fascists. And fascist is now the buzzword for murder you. That's true, man. And it's just terrible. Let me just show you this one more time. I just can't get this out of my head. But I just want to show you these text messages one more time. Just if you didn't catch it. He says, I want 2 bullets in the head of Gilbert. Who wrote that shit? Who writes that shit? Thugs do. Gangsters. Cartel guys. Come on. You think I'm being too hard? Come on. Who writes that shit? Did you text that today? I didn't. I don't think about texting that. Who thinks that shit? And the guy's got a cushy life. He's got education. He's got expensive suits. He's got all these people giving him a pillow and a blankie and trying to usher him into a political office he doesn't deserve. He has no reason to carry this kind of chip on his shoulder and be ragey. Want to wish murder on people for free speech disagreements. Come on, you're a low IQ coward, and that he wants to murder the children. She said to him, now that I read this, knowing it's a woman he was probably trying to sleep with. Can I be real? Can I be real on my own podcast? Having a little drink here. He's probably trying to sleep with her, or some kind of thing was going on. Maybe they had a relationship. She's a Republican, by the way. The only reason a guy that's a Democrat would tell a Republican woman this kind of thing to act tough is because he's trying to sleep with her, or he already has. Sorry. Let's type it right. And he also, I've told you this before, they had a tight relationship. They had a close relationship. Because when you message this, you trust the person. He trusted her. He shouldn't have. He shouldn't have said it. He shouldn't trust her. That's politics. And she said, you were talking about hoping Jennifer Gilbert's children would die. And he said, yes, I've told you this before. It's just, it makes me sick. I'm going to turn this off because I always get sick. I'm going to turn, got to take this off. But I'll take this off the screen, but I want to bring this to your attention too. This should be a t-shirt for the Democrats. Only when people feel pain personally do they move on policy. And that is Rules for Radical Saul Alinsky, by the way. That's Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama's book. Or not that they wrote it, but that's their book. That's their playbook. That's the playbook the Democrats have been using for a long time. Since Clinton was out of office. That was the playbook. People only move on policy when they feel the pain personally. And that was his justification for wishing murder on babies. Nice job, you piece of shit. What a total piece of shit. I'm sorry. I'm just and after I got mean and dark, please subscribe. Please subscribe to me on the old Rumble machine. Just click it, click, subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, click a subscription. Appreciate that. If you're watching, this is a late night edition, so we'll see how many people watch this. But if you're watching on X, please like and share. Now, if you're afraid that I might offend your feed, I can understand not sharing or reposting it. But give me a like, baby. Appreciate that. By the way, I'm everywhere. Jason J. Daniel everywhere. And I do sports on TikTok. Tomorrow, college football, we're going to do sports on TikTok, real Jason J. Daniel. So that we're wrapping up. I want to show you one last thing. I had some other things to talk about. I was going to talk about the governor's race in Virginia because she's a rage monster. Actually, let me jump to that. I mean, here's the next video I want to play for you. I got a couple of things, and if you want to jump off, I get that. But this is interesting. So this is the Republican candidate for governor. Now, from what I'm reading, she is 10 points down, but maybe this news will help her. So she went ahead and did a little message, which first of all, I love this. I want you to know, I love what I see here. I love how she's got red back there. She's got her logo. Right away, we know she means business. I like this. So let's see how this goes.
It's gone too far. You can't call a woman who looks like me racist and then dial back the rhetoric.
Oh, this is the wrong video. Sorry. Her opponent called her racist, but I'll continue and finish it. There's another video that she put out that looks like this one where she's condemning what Jones said, but I'll continue this.
Can't do what Jay Jones did. Text about killing a Republican.
Okay, well, I got mixed up. I guess she did cover both in this. Let's back up. Okay, so the history is this. There's been a lot of mud being slinged, and the Democrat candidate for governor, incumbent, said something that was racially charged about Winsome. Her name is the name of the governor is Abigail Spanberger, and this is let me check. Let me go back. Winsome Earl Sears is her name. Okay, so she's 10 points down, but God, I hope she wins.
It's gone too far. You can't call a woman who looks like me racist and then dial back the rhetoric.
Okay.
You can't do what Jay Jones did. Text about killing a Republican politician and his kids.
That's true. Like, it's crazy that she has to say that. That's crazy that this is where we're at. That Jay Jones, big time thug, loser, criminal minded person who's wanting to be attorney general, wants children to be murdered for political gain.
And then dial back the rhetoric. You can't pretend they, them is a pronoun and then wonder how people lose touch with reality. And you can't normalize radical policies and prejudices.
Now, one of the sorry, I didn't let her finish. one of the battles they were having is over trans rights, and that's why she's mentioning pronouns, and so her campaign's been crazy.
that lead people to kill those they disagree with.
It's wild we have to say these things.
Folks, you can't hear Abigail Spanberger on video say, let your rage fuel you, and think that's leadership. Is that what we want?
I'll show you that video. She said that.
Is this what we want our politics to be?
If you're a Democrat, that's what you want because that's what you've been voting for, and none of the Democrats are condemning it, which blows me away. It blows my mind that they're not condemning this shit and saying we got to come to our senses here and stop this shit and ostracize violent people like Jay Jones. They need to fucking come out, and AOC and these fuckers need to come out and say, I mean, because this is a nationwide story, they should say tomorrow morning, Jay Jones, get the fuck out of here, man. We're not supporting you. You can't talk about murdering children. Like, when is the Democrat Party going to stand up and say, we don't tolerate that? Like, it's not even about politics for me. Cut politics out of it. It's not even about red versus blue. It's about, you said you want innocent babies murdered in their mother's arms. You said that because of politics. It's disgusting. And the more that the Democrat, that's not the only thing, right, that we've been dealing with. And the more that the Democrats ignore it, it's just like justifying it. There's no middle ground when you talk about murdering opponents and joke about it and think it's funny and gyrate about Charlie Kirk being killed and not condemn it and say, this is not, they should say, this is not who we are. How hard is that? And the other thing that blows my mind is the reason why they don't do it is because they lose votes, because most of the people that vote for them like that shit. That's why they don't condemn it. They're politicians. If everybody in their party didn't like it that voted for them, they'd condemn it right away. But no, they don't condemn it because they know the people that vote for them are okay with it. And that is the dark truth.
Rage? Of course not. It's time to bring back common sense and common decency. And as a Marine, you have my word. That's what I'll do as governor of our great Commonwealth of Virginia.
She just seems sweet to me. It's interesting because I would have been like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? You know what I did? If I was her, now, I'll just say if I was me and I was running against this guy, I'd say, here's the thing. I'm not 7. I'm not 8. Try to get me, motherfucker. If I was Jason running against him, I'd be like, I am Jason. But if I was the other Jason, I'd be like, you can meet me on the lawn here. You can take off your nice, expensive suit that somebody, gave you campaign money to buy. Take off that red tie and let's do this, man. You think you're tough? That's what I'd say. I'd say, enough is enough. You think that'd be my video. Enough is enough, dude. Leave the children alone. Why don't you pick on a real man or someone your own size? Because that's just cowardice. Anyway, she's so sweet. Her smile makes me happy. She's so happy. I love this. She's too happy for being 10 points down. She's way too happy for that. But yeah, so that is Winsome Earl Sears. So she's got just a beautiful aura and handled that well, by the way. That's a great video. So the rage thing that she was talking about, that's a thing. Let me find that. I do have that. Let's see here. I'm all over the place with my where is that? Darn it. Okay, here it is. Okay. All right. So thanks for hanging in there, guys. We're over an hour, but this is a lot of fun. Again, late night edition. Late night with Jason. Okay, so here we go. Now, so this is the video that Winsome Earl Sears was talking about. This is Abigail Spanberger. Her name sounds like a villain in Batman. Is it Batman Returns with George Clooney? Anyway, it sounds like a villain name. Abigail Spanberger is called. This is what she says. Okay, here we go.
Let your rage fuel you.
Let your rage fuel you. Now, All right, let me be honest. it, it doesn't. That's not too. That's not mean. Let your rage fuel you. She sounds a little lit. She sounds lit. Okay, and she just sounds like she's like doing like Wheel of Fortune. Oh, woo! Whatever. Look at the look on her. She's so excited. Look how happy she is to talk about being ragey. They love this shit. And she got so excited when everybody went, woo, rage, violence, woo.
Every time we
Every time
hear a new story,
we hear a new story. All this stuff is planned, by the way, guys. These she's in the mirror. She's said this a bunch of times. We let it fuel us.
fuel us.
Oh, look at the fist, baby. She's now tough.
Every time we turn
And now let me switch my mic and do my hand like that.
on the news, we
On the news.
let it fuel us.
Every time. Why are they doing an ass shot? Sorry, don't do that.
bad is happening, we say, oh, that's motivation.
Motivation.
I'll tell you this, I have an opponent who's incredibly motivating.
Ooh, look at that. Spanberger's just a little mean.
Let your rage
It got cut off. Darn it. That was the end of it. There we go.
be motivating.
All right. I'm sure the rest of it's boring. That's why. Okay. So that was like, that's the video that she is referring to. The rage, let your rage fuel you. Look, they don't have any problem with their rage fueling them. Their rage is getting people killed. They have no problem with that. That's why when she said it, they all went, woo. She's like, let your rage fuel you. But look, I'm mocking her for acting like a teetotaler, but that's some evil shit. They traffic in that. Rage, mean, get angry. While she's benefiting from activating a psycho. That's all psycho activating stuff. They want psychos to go out there and be psycho like them. Now, speaking of psychos, okay, so I think that was she's 10 points down, not Abigail, but Earl Sears is 10 points down. She's got a month, so hats off to her. God bless her. I like that. I like what I saw. So yeah, I've got, okay. So, all right. So that being said, let's end with this. This one's going to be fun. I mean, tonight, my theme, my meme, it's all memes. Tonight, my message is, essentially I just wanted to talk about the power that these politicians get. And all of a sudden they just become vicious monsters that want to kill children. Like, it's so crazy. Like, it's just, it's a lesson to us about how politics will turn you into a vicious person when you're losing. Because it's so, to win a campaign, to have power in politics is so sweet. It's a very sweet thing for these people. Like, they love it. Like, the ego, it just transforms them. They get free shit. People drive them around. People worship them. They get on a podium. They say all sorts of stuff. They can tell people to shut up. They can break the rules. They drive around, don't get tickets. They even, and I'm just talking about city council. That's the life of a city council person. Most of you watching this, if you got that free shit, you'd probably respect it. You'd probably be like, oh, this is very nice. I'm going to do something for the people. But see, you're not running. And the bad people run in most cases. Evil people run because they want the power. You're not running because you as a person that can appreciate that power, you're doing other things with your life. You're not running after political power. So it's a real tricky dichotomy. I think the good people don't run, but if good people run, they get, threatened. They threaten their kids like this fucker, right? Or let your rage fuel you, like that poor excuse for a governor. It's just a really, it's the age old problem that, why aren't better people running? Well, because they don't want to deal with the bad people that are already there. These are some tough scoundrels, man. And look, it takes a tough hide to be involved in this, be an activist, be a podcaster on politics, or talk about it. I've gotten some just recently, talking about Oakland, I've gotten, nasty shit. And, it happens. It doesn't move me, but I guess that's why I'm made for it, because I've been through a lot and, I stand up to that shit. So it's just, we need better people to run, but I'm kind of like, I don't want to ask better people to run in certain cases. I mean, the people I know are awesome people. So I'm excited about the people that are running, that I know, that I support. But, in other places, you want to recruit good candidates, but they have to be ready. They have to be trench fighters. They got to be tough. You got to be tough. You got to be tough to get through what Democrats do to you. And I'm just talking about Republicans. I'm talking about people running as conservatives. You have to be so tough to get through these people, the threats, the nastiness. I've seen it. There's so many people in local politics that are good people that have stories about what they've gone through just because they wanted to run for office. The threats, the intimidation. It's crazy. Now, speaking of another nut job, I know you wanted to know what's our last nut job of the night, Jason. And by the way, happy weekend. We're officially at the weekend. Let's talk about the Seattle mayor. Okay, so this guy. So first of all, this guy's awesome. Okay, so they're having a debate, and this is the clip that's gotten isolated from the debate. This is what's made headlines. It's made national news. And this is the mayor of Seattle. What's his name again? He is okay. So maybe they're hungry. Okay, so he's running. It's Harrell. Is it Bruce? Is it Bruce Harrell? Bruce Harrell. Got it right. Democratic Mayor Bruce Harrell in Seattle. All right. He is running against progressive activist Katie Wilson. Interesting. Okay. And he says, I don't know anything about Katie Wilson, so I cannot, endorse her. Well, I don't endorse, but I cannot say anything about her per se. I don't know anything. I have to research her. But they're in a debate, and he says during the debate, he talks about crime. This is a lot of fun. Let's rock. Oh, first we got to watch a commercial. Really? All right, I'll pause it. Sorry about that, guys. Or I'll shut the sound off. We got a second here. 4, 3, 2. Here we go.
Mayor Harrell, I want to go back to that repeat offender question. If somebody has offended 6, 7, 8 times.
Okay. You can see right away he doesn't want to talk about it. Look what he did. He just started looking down. He knew this question was coming up. He doesn't want to talk about it.
Even if it's a minor offense, but they can.
Okay, now he's ready.
Continue to fail to turn their life around. At what point do you balance public safety to get?
She doesn't look that enthused about it either. She does not look happy. They look very unhappy.
Giving this person, some accountability. What is that balance?
So let me make something very clear.
Okay, so when I touch my ear, I'm going to lie to you. Or he's signaling to someone. Who touches their ear like that? That's odd. That's odd behavior. Okay. So he's either letting somebody know that this is what they planned on saying, or he's about to, it's a tell.
I was the one that.
Now he's looking over here. He's away from the moderator. Let's look to the people that are going to support me. Looks like he's trying to scout somebody to give him some kind of encouragement.
Sponsored the ban the box legislation when everyone opposed it because the criminal system has had a disparate impact on Black and brown.
I don't know what ban the box is, so I'm ignorant to that, but I believe it has something to do with racial profiling from what he's saying.
Communities. Let me lead with that.
Let me just bring that up, because what are you going to say about that, right? That's always what you do if you want to win an argument. You go right to race. That's what Democrats do. They scapegoat you. They gaslight you by bringing up race when you're talking about something else. Crime and race, yes, are related, but that wasn't the question. But he had to say, that's the first thing I want to put in your mind, so now I can twist you up with the next thing.
So when this person is committing 6 or 7 crimes, I don't know his or her story. Maybe they were abused as a child. Maybe they're hungry. So my remedy is to find their life story to see how we could help first. I have no desire to put them in jail.
Of course you don't. Well, first of all, you can't put anybody in jail,
you,
baby.
And that's the calibration that we have. I put police officers.
There we go.
to put them in jail. But I need to protect you. And that's the calibration that we have. I put.
Okay. There is no calibration when it's bad guys versus public safety from bad guys. There's no calibration. There's no, I want to hear their story and give them a pillow and a blankie and give them a neck massage and ask them how they're doing and give them free this and give them free that and give them a hug and read them a bedtime story and ask them, how did your mommy treat you after your 8th offense, violent criminal? Are you hungry? Yeah, we're all hungry, motherfucker. But that doesn't make me go out and hurt people for the 8th time.
Police officers on the stand. I've cross-examined them. So whether they commit 7 or 8 crimes to me is not the issue.
Well, it's not the issue that they're just committing crime after crime in your city, you dumb idiot.
Issue is, why are they committing these crimes?
Yeah, because you're letting them, because you're talking like a crime boss. This fucker is talking like a crime boss. If I was a criminal and I watched this debate, I'd be like, I love this guy because I can do up to 7, 8 things that are bad, and he's going to give me a pillow and a blankie. What a good guy.
And so we have a health-based strategy. We author. Okay,
how does healthcare have anything to do with eight offenses for a violent criminal?
Our fire department, for example, to be the first fire department in the country to administer buprenorphine. I want these people treated. I'm just lost. This guy's dumb as rocks. So for me, it's not 7 or 8. It's how do I stop? How do I go upstream to find out what's in their life? But at the end of the day, I also have to protect you. And that's the calibration that we've done. And we are best practice in this country in doing it. Jesus Christ. Okay, I have to stop sharing this because sorry about that. He's making me sick. Okay, so I'm done. I'm done for the night. Guys, thanks for watching. All right, what are you going to say to that? What are you going to say to that Looney Tune? Like, that is the dumbest shit. That's the dumbest thing that anybody could say when it comes to crime. But he said it. He believes it. He acts on it. And if they keep electing this guy, it means that Seattle is a place that just enjoys getting robbed and getting having the assaults and all the other stuff that they get in these left-wing radical run cities, because there isn't anybody that wants to stand up and put themselves on the line that has conservative values or tough on crime, because then you have these loons threaten you. Then you got guys like Jay Jones threaten your family, threaten your life, say they want to murder you in a text message if you stand up for what's right or if you dare to disagree with them. God help us all. So anyway, it's Loon Friday. There you go. Do your homework, guys. That's some interesting stuff to check in on. And I'm here for you to do. I'm here to do homework with you. And thanks for watching, guys. It's been fun. It's been fun. It's been a great week, man. We're going into the weekend. I will not be doing any shows until Monday. Who knows what'll happen this weekend? Last weekend was crazy. I tried to stay off the internet, but Gavin Newsom was doing so much crazy stuff, and Antifa was rocking in Portland, and that was wild. And Trump was doing stuff. It was crazy. So I had to pay attention. But I'm going to take a break this weekend. I hope you have a good weekend too. Thanks for watching. Last thing I'll say, it's late night edition. So if you guys are watching, awesome. You're watching in the morning. Thank you. Please subscribe. Follow now on YouTube, Rumble, or Twitch. We're live streaming to all these platforms and X as well. My show is always pinned. My latest show is always pinned on the feed of my X account. So thank you. Thank you for the follows. Every day I'm getting more subscribers and followers. So thank you guys. I really it wouldn't happen. I appreciate it. It wouldn't happen without you guys. So thank you. And my shows are getting shared more and more on Rumble and YouTube, because every time it gets shared, I get a notice. So thank you. I appreciate that. And again, my name is Jason J. Daniel. If you're hitting this feed late, I do politics, sports, and true crime. And I've got interesting interviews that aren't politics lined up. I'm trying to I know a lot of interesting people that I'm itching to get in and do interviews with, because I just love it. It's a lot of fun and the feedback's great. So follow me on X, Jason J. Daniel. Follow me everywhere. And speaking of that, follow me everywhere on the internet. IG, Snap, Jason J. Daniel. I'm
I am always down to chat. And if you have any ideas or feedback, I appreciate it. I get a lot of comments. I'm actually going to start. I do write back to you guys when I can, but I'm going to start reading my comments. That'll be fun. I'll do a little comment section, but I just kind of get riffing and get talking, and I'll go. It's been more than almost an hour and 30 minutes. So I kind of just go. But, and I'm my own producer. So I do get interesting comments. So I think I'm going to try to print some out and talk to you guys and reference them. So thank you. God bless you guys. Go with God. And thank you for subscribing and following, because all of that lets the algorithm know that what you're watching is important to you. And it also thinks it might be important to others, and it will give my my shows more visibility, and that is appreciated. So take care. Go with God. God bless you, and have a great weekend. Take care. Thanks for watching.